morning, friends. Don't mind me. I'm just sitting next to my bed full of literal frost. I was just telling you guys a few days ago how it's been so warm and nice here, which it has been. And like typical Florida fashion, you can't guarantee any type of weather in the winter time. Nothing is consistent. The temperatures are dropping down into the 30s. This is super cold for us Floridians. I know there's some type of crazy polar vortex happening for all of America. Our northerner friends are going to be experiencing dangerously cold, like negative temperatures, which is crazy to me. But I'm here in Florida and I have my work cut out for me with getting all of my vulnerable tomato plants situated, pepper plants and things like that. That's pretty much what this video is going to focus on today. Let's get started. I am so glad I bought this garden fabric, frost fabric, a few days ago, or like a week ago or so, because I wanted to try to create some type of barrier from the bunnies. And turns out I actually really on the forefront need to create a barrier from the frost. I got some garden clips to hold my garden fabric up. I purchased these ones because they are stainless steel, so I try to go for like better quality products, especially in the garden, because of how intense all the elements can be. So I'm gonna get my tomato plants protected and my pepper plants, and hopefully I won't be sad once this week is over. I am trying to spread this huge frost fabric out so that I can cut sections for the tomato plants, and it's huge. I feel like it was, I want to say it was 30 by 40 feet. I like how big it is so that I can cut it up for different areas, because you know, most people don't need a 30 by 40 section covered in all. So what we're trying to do is prevent the frost from sitting on the plants. So the way frost works is when the frost touches the actual plants, it penetrates into the plant tissue. Those cells will then freeze basically the water within the plants. So then that causes damage and the blackening or the discoloration of the actual plants. So it's not a matter of the temperatures that the plants can't handle, it's the actual frost because of the damage that happens when the water expands within the actual plants. So that is why we are just trying to create a barrier, and why these plants can still survive as long as you create a barrier with whatever you have, whether that is sheets, because that's what I'm probably going to pull out later today, or this frost fabric, whatever you got to protect your plants. So this information is mostly applicable to people who don't experience snow or extended periods of time of frost. Now here in Florida, it might just be a handful of days, or people in like zone, I would say like 8 through 10, you might be able to get away with just covering your plants through a few frosts here and there. I don't know how people manage up north when it comes to like the hard freezes and snow and things like that. I know people have different tactics, but as long as you just gently cover these plants, they're typically going to be fine. I'm gonna try to rip this. I do have sheets I use specifically for my garden in times of frost. So that has worked really well for me in the past if you're someone who doesn't want to go out and get a bunch of frost fabric. Now this year I decided to invest in frost fabric, and I'm going to probably buy some more because I don't have enough to cover all of the plants that are going to be sensitive to this frost that's coming up here, and it's going to last for a good week. Temperatures in the 30 degrees. Now for me personally, I decide to cover my plants when the temperatures get below 40 degrees. That's just kind of what I feel is when it's necessary. I typically will cover my plants with sheets. However, the issue with sheets is that they block out most of the light, and the issue arises when you're experiencing frost for a week or longer. You're going to have to continue to cover at night, uncover, and cover at night. Now the beautiful thing about frost fabric is it allows light within, like you can even see my hand. It's going to protect the plants from frost, and it's also going to allow light to go in, and the plants are going to still be growing and be relatively happy, or just make it through at the very least. So that's why I'm going to try to invest in frost fabric for the garden moving forward. I also created a little situation over here that I'll talk about in a second to protect my plants from the bunnies. What had happened was I planted out my spinach with you guys the other day, and everything went fabulously. The spinach transplants really just responded well. And of course I came out to the garden to do some little inspections, see how my beloved little baby plants are doing, and I noticed some of my plants were being munched on. My dill plants, I noticed one was looking really unhappy, while the other ones were, you know, still much bigger. So I'm sure that a bunny came out, and I also saw some spinach plants getting a little bit of nibbles here and there, and my Swiss chard over here. Now it's kind of hard to tell right now because I had covered these a week ago, so they have gone through a week of growth, thankfully. But what I did, because I knew that it was a bunny that was attacking these plants, or just, you know, helping themselves to a nice healthy dinner, I decided I wanted to cover these plants with the little hoop net thingies, and then I put the fabric over the top. So I know that this fabric is allowing a lot of light to come through because all the plants are continuing to grow and there's really no issues. So far I do like this fabric, and it's allowing me to water really easily underneath, and it's preventing the bunnies from coming and enjoying my hard work. Now on to what I am most concerned with is protecting my peppers. There's a lot of reasons why I would be more concerned with protecting peppers than anything, and that is because they are a perennial plant, which means if they are protected properly during these winter months and they don't experience any type of disease, they should come back for anywhere from 2 to 4 or even 5 years. So the really exciting part about peppers is you can overwinter your peppers. There is no need to start from scratch every year. You can move them inside, or you can try to overwinter them in your garden, which is what I'm doing this year because I have all of my peppers in this bed. And the really exciting part about overwintering your peppers is as soon as those temperatures start to get warmer, you can expect the plants to start producing flowers and setting fruits, as opposed to waiting 3 months or so for a plant to go from seed to harvest. If you are in a northern climate where your growing season is really short, this method is perfect for you because you're going to be able to benefit from getting peppers immediately and having them grow through the season without waiting. I will warn you, what I'm about to do is going to look very scary for a pepper gardener. It's going to look like something you shouldn't be doing, but I promise you this is the best way to get your plants going and have an even bigger harvest going into the spring season. Now we're going to give this pepper plant the worst haircut of its life. We're going to start off by cutting all of the foliage, and it's going to look very drastic, I know. It is in the plant's best interest. I'm just going to take this one inside. What we're doing is we're cutting down all the foliage until there's only 2 to 4 of these main arms. Now this one only had 2 of them, and then it can have some of these V's with about an inch or so worth of the stalk poking out. Ideally, if you are in a really cold climate, you'll want to actually dig this pepper plant out, move it inside, and put it somewhere where there's indirect light. You don't need to worry about watering these plants consistently during these winter months because these plants are going to be in a fully dormant state. We've trimmed all the foliage so the plant can conserve energy and it knows that it is gone dormant. Now, once it is spring again, you can move these plants back outside wherever you see fit, and you're going to start to see the leaves come back as well as any flowers, and then not long after you will start to see fruit. So that is the best way to protect your pepper plants if you still have any outside. And the reality is, if the plants are outside and they have all their foliage left on them, they're going to waste energy attempting to set fruit and stress them out, and it's going to make that plant weaker and just not ready for its A game come spring. Now I present to you my strawberry plants. Now, if you are a current subscriber and you watched last week's video, you will know that my goal is to plant 100 strawberry plants in the spring season. I ordered 50 bare root strawberry plants to start. Then eventually I was like, 50 is not gonna cut it. I want 100 because I want like a huge abundance of strawberries. And if we're gonna be doing this, we're gonna be doing it real big. I ordered 50 more. I got 50 started, and these plants looked like molded mess. I thought that nothing was gonna work, but to my surprise, these things like immediately just started to grow, and it was like they were like singing and dancing. They were so happy with the new place, their new little home. I put these in 4-inch pots, which I admit I think is way too small. I think a 6-inch pot at the very least, one of these nursery pots, would be far better for the strawberry plants. But as you can see, it's working out fine. So what my plan is, once the super cold temperatures have come and gone, where the nighttime temperatures are no longer in the 30-degree realm, I'm going to get the rest of all of these strawberry plants planted out in their actual permanent home. That's why the 4-inch pot is not a big deal to me, because they're really going to be in there for seriously like 2-3 weeks. But again, if I was going to be having them in there for anything longer than a month, I would definitely suggest like a 6 or an 8-inch pot. Now I want to show you guys the home that I plan to plant my strawberry plants in. My husband the other day so lovingly got everything all set up. Now we do no dig, no till in our garden. Everything you see here, there is no garden fabrics. It's just deep mulching. And that is a practice I continue to do. Now, of course, that practice would be much easier if we had like a tractor or something like that. But as of so far, we've just done literally everything with one wheelbarrow at a time. What we did, this is going to be the new strawberry patch. This is only going to be half of it. I'm going to expand it 50% more so that we can do 100 in all. What we did is just laid down a whole layer of cardboard all the way down the line, and then put, like, I want to say around 4 to 6 inches of mulch on top of that, as per usual, and then a very thin amount of compost on top of that. Now that is going to be where I plant my strawberries, and then I'm going to do that again out front once I can accumulate more cardboard. These rows are about 26 feet long, I want to say, or 24 feet long, just for reference. So I'm going to be planting 25 per long row, which is why I'm only going to fit 50 in this particular area. That may be enough space, that may not be enough space. We're just going to see. Next time I expand the garden and do like a new no dig garden expansion, I'll film that when I do the other half for the strawberries. That way, if you're interested to see how that works, you can see how that works. But that's pretty much it for today. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. Next video will be me getting my strawberries in the ground, and hopefully I can show you how my tomato plants have survived these cold temperatures. All right, until next time.